Alright, hey everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. So we're getting around to some more Shonen Jump stuff today. So Kaiju's final chapter dropped this weekend, so I spent a good chunk covering that extra long last chapter. Apart from that, we've got some Spy Family today, as well as I'm going to try to get caught up on some of my Akane Banashi backlog, just because I do not want that to become more insurmountable the longer I let it build up. But in the meantime, still a lot of good stuff going to be coming your way. So if you haven't already, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. So before we get into Spy Family, just a couple of things I want to talk about before we get into it. One, I'm going to wait till the end of this chapter just to see if like it if it, no, not retcons, but if it kind of refutes anything I'm about to theorize or talk about. So I'll wait till the end, but I have what might be a semi-controversial theory, so we'll see how that goes. Apart from that, I've seen so many people being like, oh yeah, jealous Lloyd arc. And for the love of God, please, I do not want a jealous Lloyd arc. It's one of the most overdone fucking tropes in fiction. I hate the hell out of it, and I really hope that's not the way this chapter is going to go. But like I said, we'll see where it goes with it. So without further ado, let us dive into it. Spy Family Mission 120 by Tetsuya Endo, with translation by Casey Lowe and lettering by Rina Mappa. This chapter's already not getting off to a good start, but we'll do it with all of Yor's co-workers are cornering her with, "We all saw you, Yor." She's like, "Huh? You were with a man yesterday." She's like, "What? Oh, Lloyd and I went out." He's like, "No, during your date with Lloyd. You met a long-haired blonde man, didn't you?" And she's like, "They saw me with Hemlock?" He's like, "Oh, that, It's like, you even accepted a present from this mystery man." He's like, "Oh, that too, And she's like, "Mr. McMahon, help! Save me! I don't know what to do!" And you see McMahon just like walking around behind her. And their co-worker's like, "Confess, now!" And McMahon's just like, ah. He's like, "Tell us who he is!" And you see McMahon just kind of standing there silent before he goes and rings the telephone. And you have, "Oh, Mr. Director, you should hear this. You're committed adultery with a long-haired man who..." is like, you must mean Mr. Jones here, who was transferred to our office 2 days ago. As you see, I hope this is not going to be like a permanent thing, and this is just McMahon trying to like help Yor out. But you see Hemlock showing up in a suit with, "Mr. Jones here, who was transferred to our office 2 days ago." He's like, hold on a minute. He's like, "He met Yor yesterday to hand over a product sample from a client." He's like, "I said, hold on." And he's like, "Oh, so he's a co-worker? Boring." And the black-haired glasses co-worker's like, "Sorry for suspecting you, Yor." He's like, "It's fine." He's like, "This is what you urgently summoned me for?" And McMahon's like, "The shopkeeper and I agree that you need to work on your social skills. So we'd already made arrangements for you to work." Fucking Christ, bro. I do not want more Hemlock. We already got enough with the SysCon. I don't need another loser like that here. It's like, "Are you kidding me? I can't be in the city. It drains my solitude powers." If Hemlock wasn't such an annoying dick, it'd be so relatable as an introvert where he's like, "I don't want to be around people." But, fucking Christ, bro, don't tell me this is fucking happening. And you see short-haired coworker being like, "He's so cool." He's like, "Huh?" He's like, "Excuse me, may I ask for your number?" He's like, "What? As if I have one. I have no telephone in my home. Such an inappropriate device." And he's like, "I'd back off if I were you. He seems like a jerk." It's like, "You really need to stop picking men based solely on looks." And McMahon's like, "As Mr. Jones has only just moved here, they haven't yet connected his phone line. Haha." He's like, "Take this seriously, the shopkeeper will hear about it." He's like, "Hrr." He's like, and then Hemlock just mutters under his breath, like, "It's nice to meet you." It's like, "How old are you? How tall are you? You can tell me over dinner." It's like, "Millie, stop!" And Yor's like, "I do hope that everyone's able to get along." And you see McMahon just watching before he turns and goes, "It may be that he's a poor fit for the part. We'll teach him what we can and then let him go with the transfer. Not everyone is cut out to act in certain roles." And you see Yor's kind of looking away a little despondently. As you have Twilight being snapped out of his reverie with, "Are you listening to me, Agent Twilight? Don't space out during briefings." He's like, "Oh, I apologize. That's correct. Their expenditures total $352,500 with a customer list of 18. He's like, "Wait, you seem so distracted, but you're actually listening? Are you fighting with the missus again?" He's like, "Hehehe." And Fiona's like, "What? Love?" It's like, "I wouldn't call it a fight exactly." And she thinks back to Yor going, and what about you, Lloyd? It's like, after that, Yor barely said another word to me. Has she come to suspect that I'm not actually pursuing our marriage for Anya's sake? No, there's no reason she should. But what if she has? She told me before that she had no complaints, but it seems increasingly unlikely that she was sincere. It's like, And you have, this whole Operation Strix has been one hassle after another. And Fiona's like, it certainly has. I believe it would be prudent to begin a consideration of a Neo-Strix in which I play the wife role. Oh, it's been a while since I've had a good belly laugh from this series. And you see Lloyd just deadpan being like, that may well be a sensible move. And Fiona's like, yes, exactly. Then she freaks out in shock with, what? Ah, man, this kind of cements my theory a little bit more. We'll talk about it at the end. He's like, this is what I've always wanted, but to have it abruptly fall in my lap like this, I don't know what to do. My heart isn't ready for it. I just can't. It's too much. And you have just like love, loofah, loofah, lug, like just flashing around her. He's like, And Sylvia's like, what's the problem? Are you tired? But if you are, you can't have time off. He's like, I'm fine. There's no problem. And she's like, pull yourself together, Lloyd Forger. Don't forget that if Strix fails, we could lose our chance at Desmond forever. Any significant change to our approach now could jeopardize the mission, so find a way to keep your Briar in her current position. And Fiona's like, wait, what am I thinking? It's like, yes, ma'am. It's like, she's right. Don't forget what happened with Wheeler. Any tiny chink in the plan could cost me my life. I was naive to think that I could smooth everything over with that date yesterday. So before I can advance the Desmond plan, I may first need to develop a complete understanding of who Yor is. So come on, there's nothing. So you think there might be some skeletons in your wife's closet? Well, literally there probably is. It's like this Yor Briar must truly be a mighty adversary to give even Twilight this much trouble. And you see back at Eden with Henderson going, you are now dismissed. Travel home safely. And you have Scion Boy going, hey, Uggo, I saw you looking at me and smirking during language studies. It's like, I wasn't looking. It's like, you're a misunderstando and a stuck-uppo. It's like, you're a misunderstando, thinking that a peasant like you is worthy to look upon me. It's like, I wasn't looking. And you have the one, Ewan or Ewan, whichever one it is, one of the E's, going, you know what, I'm just going to call him Thing 1 and Thing 2 from now on. Like, the one with the wavy hair is going to be Thing 1, and the one with, the bold clet's going to be Thing 2. But Thing 1's like, he speaks truth! Prostrate yourself before him, peasant! And Becky's like, how many times have I seen this show before? You know, Scion Boy is just going to be a jerko forever. It's like, for heaven's sake, Anya, you need to start being honest. And she's like, huh? I'm always an honest and good girl. It's like, you're not even honest with yourself about how you feel. I want you to put your hand on your heart and think hard about it. And she just puts her hand on. Hold on. I went too far. And you have, sorry. And you have her just thinking about Damian just being like smug and angry and being like, nope, he's still a jerko. It's like, wow, you really run hot and cold, huh? It's like, I'm an honest and good girl. And you see later that evening with, I hath returned. It's like, welcome back, Anya. It's like, hath Papa returned yet? He said he was running a little late at work. Why don't I help you with your homework until it's dinner time? And you have Anya going, that's 1830 of his ammunition, because it's a submachine gun. It's like, you can reduce that fraction down to 3/5, you know. It's like, Mama just said something smart. He's like, no, it's just, I see Lloyd teaching you this stuff and I guess some of it's stuck. Not only can Lloyd do absolutely anything, but he's so smart. He's incredible. Has he always been like that? And Anya's like, I don't know. It's like, probably. It's like, so what sort of places did you two live before you came here? He's like, and she's like, he really isn't my dad, so it was so long ago I forgot. It's like, oh, of course, you would have been so little then, I'm sorry. And then Anya saw like her little tingling mind sensor going off. It's like, Mama, are you interested in Papa? It's like, what? Oh, no, it's nothing like that. I mean, ours is only a paper marriage. It wouldn't be appropriate to pry into each other's lives. Let's forget all about this. No, and he's like, Mama, you need to start being honest. Put your hand on your heart and think hard about it. Then you can be a good girl too. And yours kind of like taken aback. She does that. She's like, okay. It's like, maybe you're right. I guess that, oh, Christ, all right. I might actually be in love with Lloyd. I see the shippers are going to be just going bananas with this chapter. And she's like, do you love him more than omurice? He's like, huh? It isn't really like that. It's a different sort of love that I can't really compare to omurice. And she's like, I love Papa too. Slightly more than omurice. And yours like, yeah, is that right? But I think even that love is a little different from what I mean. And Anya's like, huh? Like how I love cartoons? But I think that for Lloyd, this marriage is just a contract. And I'm not the sort of person who can live a normal life. And she's like, but unlike you, I'm not a good girl. It's like, which is why. So I want you to keep this a secret from Lloyd. You have to promise, okay? And you see Anya's just like nodding with like sparkles going off. It's like, I promise. It's like, maybe I'm being selfish. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. It's like, I'm home. It's like, welcome back. But even so, it's like, Papa, I want omurice for dinner tonight. It's like, I suppose that's fine. Are you okay with that, Yor? It's like, I want to keep protecting this place. Whoops, sorry about that. Sorry. It's like, I want to keep protecting this place. It's like, yes, I love omurice. It's like, so Yor loves omurice. Like, clack, 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 clack. So I guess quick thoughts on the chapter. I don't know, like, having Hemlock show up and be, like, potentially a part of the main cast now kind of just makes me go like, like I don't like Yuri as much. I don't like the gags surrounding him as much. And I feel like Hemlock is just going to be more of the same with like, oh, get away from me, you trees, like, you wench. How dare you try to like seduce me with your feminine wiles kind of bullshit. Like, I just don't want to deal with those kinds of like gags and gimmicks from him. I feel like it wears out its welcome very, very quickly. Apart from that, I'm glad we did not get the jealous Lloyd like arc so far. So hopefully like, Endo's not going to go down that route with him, but we'll see what happens with that. Apart from that, I don't know. I also don't know if I really like the idea of like Hemlock potentially actually ending up with Yor's coworker and like him coming to like her for like love advice and stuff. Because I feel like that would be maybe potentially like good comedic gimmick. But it really kind of depends on how it plays out with regard to that. Because if it turns out like, oh, you know, Hemlock or like Millie comes to her and she's like, oh, I want advice on like how to relationship. And that's how like Yor starts kind of like becoming more invested in the idea of like, you know, actually having like an actual real relationship with Lloyd. That could be interesting, especially with her like confession this chapter. But we'll see what happens with that. Apart from that, I love how Twilight's kind of like also out of it after the confession stuff last chapter. He's kind of like, you know, like overthinking, overanalyzing all the interactions and things like that. So I guess it's time for like my controversial idea theory with regards to this. Because now we have like Yor's confession. Like obviously you think the next thing would lead to is like, all right, now Lloyd has to admit like his own feelings for her. And with Anya's kind of like mental like things going off at the end, I wonder if she's picking up on Lloyd's extraneous thoughts when she's thinking about the I promise, because he walks in the door like immediately after that. So I wonder if she's picking on like his thoughts and like his confused feelings and things. So I wonder if she and Becky are going to try to kind of like play matchmaker or matchbreaker, I guess, in Becky's case in the next couple of chapters, as like Lloyd tries to pick up like more info on Yor, like what her whole deal is, and if they're going to try to get them together and like get Lloyd to confess his feelings. But part of me kind of wants the exact opposite to happen. I want Lloyd, while he's like investigating Yor, trying to find out like what her whole deal is, him either accidentally or intentionally stumbling upon the fact that she works for Garden, and that just kind of throwing him into complete disarray about like what he knows about her, everything else like that. Because I feel like that conflict would be vastly more interesting than, oh, you know, they just kind of push Lloyd together and then like he starts like confessing his love and then they start like slowly sending feelers out. But I'm just wired differently, so that's kind of like my thing. I think we could also have like a really good compelling arc with Lloyd like confessing his feelings and seeing the romance develop. Because I still do feel like at a certain point there is going to be a schism between them when they find out each other's secret identities, when they find out the others like, working for the other side and like what their actual jobs and everything are. I still feel like that schism is still there, and at some point to like break them apart before they reunite. But yeah, I don't think I would have ever thought that Yor would be the first one to kind of like expressly confirm that she does actually love Lloyd. But it was nice. I do like that moment. I don't think it takes away from my critiques from last chapter for the last video, where I said I wish Endo had done a better job of developing it, because I feel like that does mute the impact of Yor being like, confessing to Anya a little bit, because I'm like, if you'd done just a little bit more work, if you put a little bit more effort into the development of the relationship and like the feelings and things, rather than like playing off the conflicts like immediately, just having like Yor be like, oh, it's no big deal, and just like doing that, I feel like this would have been more impactful. But yeah, at least we're making some slow progress on this after I know there was like flame wars happening in the spy fandom with like people saying like, oh, they haven't even held hands or stuff for like after how many chapters, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, apart from that, I will say it's interesting that this is the first time, like even if that's just how out of it Lloyd is and like how overburdened he is, the fact he actually did respond to Fiona's suggestion with like, oh, that might be a possibility that we have to do, again, makes me think like, that would be a really interesting way to go if there is a conflict and like one side finds out about the thing first before the other one does. I feel like that would make for some really good drama, but like I said, we'll have to see where it goes from here. But yeah, especially because we have Sylvia being like, oh, pull yourself together, and she says like Lloyd Forge, kind of like enforcing the idea, reinforcing the idea of, this is just a facade, this is a persona he's putting on, it's not the real him. But yeah, I'd like to see like a little bit more like personal conflict, like internal conflict with Lloyd struggling with that. But I guess we'll see what happens. But yeah, apart from that, I think this is the first time in a while I've actually really enjoyed a Spy Family chapter. I feel like it's caught a lot of like the essence of what made this series good in the first place. So I'd like to see that. Oh, one more thing before I forget about the chapter. Another thing I really love, because this has been like skeeving me out when I've seen the discussions around it, is I've seen way too many people shipping Anya and was it Damian together, and being like, oh, like doing like fan art of them as like as adults and like teenagers in a relationship, and talking about how like the romance between them is like so much like has so much more progression than the romance between Lloyd and Yor. And I want to make it clear, Anya's what, like 4 or 5 years old at the most, and Damian's like 5-6 years old at the most. Kids at that age have no conception of romance apart from Becky, who's kind of doing like the weird like romanticized idea of like watching soap operas, the idea she has from that of like what romance is. And I love that Endo's kind of doing that with Anya, like playing it straight with being like, Anya has like no idea what the fuck romance is. She's still beefing with Damian. She still thinks of him just like, as a rude jerk that's just mean to her all the time. And she is being like, when she's telling Becky like, oh, I'm an honest and good girl, like she's 100% serious. And I absolutely love the fact that she's like, I have no concept of what love is or romance is. Like, just to her, it's just like, I just want to be friends with this guy because it helps my papa. It's going to help me beat my mom. Like, I'll be number one. So I really love Endo's kind of like not even giving anyone fodder to work with, being like, oh, it's like childhood romance, things like that. So I think that was by far my favorite part of the chapter, apart from Fiona's reaction, was just the Anya stuff. That was comedy gold. But yeah, thank God for that, because that fucking romance stuff with people like shipping 2 little kids together, like it just skeeves me the hell out whenever I've seen that. But yeah, hopefully the next arc that we're going into, whatever it is, keeps up this pace, this kind of format. But yeah, looking forward to that solid chapter, Spy Family. So with all that said, I hope you all did enjoy this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you think of my controversial theory of whether you would like to see Lloyd also accept his feelings and romance start to blossom. But yeah, until next time, this is Ash. Talk to you all later.